A recently released report from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board on the 2022 crash that killed 6 Oklahoma students prompts nationwide recommendations about cannabis and driving. Oklahoma City Police Chief Gourley joining us to discuss the findings and the report showing that the 16-year-old driver was impaired by marijuana when that deadly crash occurred. And Chief, I think the big question is, how often are your officers responding to these types of situations where they're either pulling someone over or someone's calling in to report what they believe to be an impaired driver, only to find out that it's marijuana use involved?
We're seeing it much more with marijuana, alcohol, prescription medication, how that gets abused sometimes too. And so we're seeing it a lot more than we did in the past.
A lot of talk about what can be done to prevent this type of thing, especially as we see these numbers increase. The NTSB is recommending more education for our youth, calling on Oklahoma to develop a classroom curriculum that covers the risk. So I guess the big question that I have is, are you here in Oklahoma City seeing a rise in teenage drivers that are under the influence of marijuana at the time of their stop or arrest?
We're seeing it across the board. And in fact, we've had to we got a grant recently through the Highway Safety Office to help increase our drug recognition expert program. And that's how we can detect that in an individual. There is no breath test for marijuana, and blood tests are real hard to get an accurate reading on as well. So those drug recognition experts become more and more necessary in detecting that. And you're seeing it more because marijuana is so much more accessible with medical marijuana and some of the things that go along with that. And then people don't think, it's not uncommon for you to get a prescription at the doctor's office and it have that warning label that says you shouldn't drive, operate machinery, those kind of things when you're taking this medication. Marijuana should be no different. If you're using marijuana in a medically legal manner, it can still impact and impair your driving. Matter of fact, as much or more than alcohol. And so people need to be aware of that. And if they're going to use marijuana, they shouldn't get behind the wheel. And
it's important to note, it is illegal to get behind the wheel under the influence of THC.
Oh, absolutely. Just again, no different than prescription medication, alcohol. You can be charged with a DUI. If you're using marijuana and you get behind the wheel, you can be charged with driving under the influence. And that's what those DRE officers, those drug recognition officers, that's what they do, out in the field. They get called over and they can do a series of tests in the field to determine if that driver is impaired.
Well, we do appreciate the insight this morning. Thanks for being with us, Chief. If you have any comments or concerns about this situation or any other issue facing our city, you can send us an email at chatwiththechief@griffin.news and we'll get you some answers.